Today I'm going to be installing a Pioneer doubled-in AVH 2330 NEX in my 2005 Ford Focus ZXW Wagon. We're going to first start with removing this trim piece right here. I got this fancy trim tool. I used to use screwdrivers, which you can still do, but maybe put a little electrical tape on your screwdriver if that's what you're going to do. So let's pry here. There should be a few connectors here. You can pick up this tool at Advanced AutoZone or any audio shop, to be honest. I should pull that shifter back. I gotta put it. Let's turn the car on for a second. Let's put her to neutral. You brake up. Oh god, it's rolling. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's turn the car off. Here we go. So, alright, so you got 4 bolts in here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. They are 7mm bolts, so let's pop those out right now. Now we got all 4 screws out. Like I said, 7mm head. I use this little guy right here. You can use a nut driver or any extension you may have to get in there. 4 screws. Alright, now let's get the head unit out. I don't really want to plug that stuff. I mean, look at all the room I got here. It's plenty. So let's pull this bad boy out. Slide it out. Boom. So we got main harness connector, radio antenna. I don't know what that is. In this main harness, there are actually steering wheel controls that I will be losing in my new head unit because I did not get an adapter for it. It was at least $50, and that's something I might do down the road. But to be honest, with all the money I spent on this head unit, I just didn't feel like doing it at this moment. So, all right, so let's unplug. Sorry, I only had one hand to do that. Just press that little tab right there, give it a couple wiggles. If not, use 2 hands and pull it out. Pull out with your thumb and index finger, no problem. There it is. Oh, also, by the way, always remember to remove your CDs before you unplug the entire system. You never know. You might have that great CD from high school, you know, want to get rid of. All right, so on to the next step. We are going to wire up. I have a harness to plug into there that will then connect to the Pioneer harness, and then we will get the faceplate in, the brackets, and then should pop right back in. We will then butt connect all the connectors, power wires, speaker wires, and then I actually got a bypass. Let me show you here. So here is the harness, and then I got this bypass so you can watch your DVDs while, of course, not driving, but you can watch them while you are not in a parked position with your e-brake up. So that's kind of why I've got it. I got this off eBay, I believe, and it was around 10 bucks. There's the brand right there. Looks like you just soldered up 3 wires. It gives you all the directions right there. So yeah, let's move on to that. Okay, cool. Next step is to, I got my aftermarket harness in. So this will plug in to the OEM harness. And then it pretty much, these are all marked telling you which wires which. I also did just give this a quick look over. I didn't look at the schematic or anything, but you know, you got your power wire. They seem to match up and whatnot. So you got your ground down here, which will be right there. And then got your ground right here, right there, the black. Yeah, so I am going to look at what these are by reading them. And then these wires, these are your speaker wires, but I'm a little disappointed. I wish they were tagged, but I will look at the manual for what those wires are. These ones are tagged briefly. You know, you got your remote for an amp, which I'm not putting in now. I might put one in the future. So yeah, ground. Got your ground, and you got your constant. So constant 12 volt, which is the yellow one, and the red one, which is switch. So when you turn your key on, it turns on the head unit. When you turn the key off, it turns off the head unit. But you still have power for time and settings and storage. So yeah, I'm gonna proceed to connect these with butt connectors. Let me show you how I do this. I typically use, these are 16 to 14 gauge heat shrinkable connectors. I'm just gonna use nylon ones that I have in there. I don't really need a heat shrink, it's really not necessary. These are kind of expensive too. So I'm gonna be using, I might use the smaller ones, these will be fine, 22 to 18 gauge. So, you know, stripped. They're already pre-stripped, which is pretty cool. Always give it a twist. I'm gonna take a video of this, and then I crimp them with these Kleins. Best crimpers in the world. The only ones I use now. I used to use the cheap ones. You got your insulated, non-insulated. Obviously, most of the things you're probably gonna be crimping are insulated connectors, and you put it right here, all the way, and it crimps it real well. So yeah, let me show you how I do that. So I prefer to use these nylon ones mainly, due to the fact that you can see through it. What I mean is that you can see through there. See how I cut the wire? You can see how much wire is exposed. If you can't see it and it's the vinyl ones, then you might be going too long, you might not be going in all the way. So it also ends right in the middle. There's a little stop. So I typically cut mine just perfect, especially the power ones, just so they can fit perfectly in here. So let me try to get this on camera. Sorry if I'm not getting it well, but there we go. So they are both in there. You can see that they're in there pretty much all the way. You don't want it hanging out a little bit. I'm gonna give that one a little more push with two hands in a second. So now you take these Kleins, put them on the insulated area, and let me get that. All right, got it set up, just like that. Give it a squeeze, and then I usually use two hands, so let me get two hands on there. I go until that's closed up. So these Kleins are literally the best crimpers of all time. I'll let it go. Oh, that one popped out, that's okay. That's the crimp you get. It's nice. I also give it a very slight tug. Just make sure it's not loose. Very important, especially on these power wires. And that's good to go. So let's butt up the other end, and then we will continue doing all the wires, figuring out which speaker wire is which, and then hopefully we'll get this thing playing soon. All right, bam. One connection done. Doesn't take long to do. Nice and tight. So yeah, I mean, you can use heat shrink ones, that's fine, but this is gonna be inside. It shouldn't get wet. If I was in a Jeep or something, yeah, I would definitely be shrinking all of these, but for these, I don't think it's necessary. Do you know how many connections in this car are actually not shrunk? Like, I could easily put a pin in there and get connection. So what I'm saying is it's just not necessary inside of a car, unless you want to. So. All right, quick update. We got the ground, constant wire, switched wire, dimmer wire. That is a power antenna that I need to cut off. I'm just gonna put a butt crimp on there so I don't have exposed wire. These are all crimped up, as I'm talking about. And then here is the bypass, so I can play DVDs while I am parked without the e-brake up. So here is the Pioneer harness. You take the parking brake, wire it into the green wire, takes a ground, and then you plug that into the ground. That's why I have two wires coming out of here for the ground. And then you plug the blue wire into the remote for an amp. But I actually put it this way in case I put an amp in the car. It's ready to go. So next is just doing the speaker wires, and I am all set to tidy this up and then install the double DIN. Alrighty, so we got them all crimped up here. These are all the speaker wires, all nicely done. Threw a couple of zip ties on the bundles just so they are more organized. I'll do it better in there once it's done, but I mean, better than most. You know, I pretty much bundled everything in there. I left the green wire in there. That's your emergency brake in case I do eventually run it through here or sell the head unit. I don't know. So I decided not to cut it off, just leave it in there bundled up. Mute, I don't think I need that for now. This is reverse for backup camera, which I don't plan on putting in this car. It's cool, but not for me in this build. And then the only other one that's left over, I think we talked about before, is the power antenna. Actually, I was going to show you. It's in the ceiling. It's not power at all, so. Alright, so let's plug this bad boy in. Actually, I got to put in the bracket first, so let's do that. Alright, next update. I got the bezel on. So this is the one piece right here, and then these are side pieces. So what you have to do is break off these two tabs right here, and then it screws in here and here. Let's pop this bad boy in, and I'm gonna do the mic and whatnot after. I just want to pop this in, make sure it fits right, and then pop it out. See, do any adjustments, add another screw there, run the rest of the cables, and then call it a job well done. Okay, after a little finagling, I stuffed her in, plug the harness in, push the harness in, and then I kind of had to like pinch this thing in and push it. but it looks like it's lining up. I haven't screwed it in yet, but I want to see if it turns on. Oh yeah, it's on. It's a good sign. English. Okay, cool. There we go. All right, first boot up. Let's get a couple more things buttoned up, and then we will wrap up this install. Okay, here we are the next morning. I kind of ran out of time last night. I popped the head unit back out, but it's still connected with the harness here. I was gonna unconnect it, but it's long enough where you can just like plop it on the floor. And I did this because I need to finish wiring up the microphone. So let me show you how I did that here. I have my mic. It came with a little sticky, as you can see right there on the bottom. And so what I did is I took, this tool is amazing. I mean, it really helps out a lot. So I took this tool, popped this out all the way around, popped right here, and then this whole piece kind of shifted back an inch or two, and that's all I needed to get that up, that wire through there with the mic. And then I ran the wire through there, and then here is the mic wire coming right here. I put a little zip tie on harness on the vehicle for the microphone wire because it's dangling there inside of there a little bit. You don't want anything too dangly, but obviously not too tight. So it's perfect. So that's wired up in there. I'm not going to use the aux that often, but it's definitely nice to have, especially if there's an output on the head unit. I'm not going to just not put one in there. So here is just an aux cable I dedicated for the car. I stole it from the house. And like I said, zip tying it, keeping it a little tighty. I didn't really know where to put this auxiliary cable. I really didn't want it in the glove box. I'm not a fan of that. But honestly, I'm not going to use it that often, and there's not really much else place to put it besides doing modifications, which I'm not doing for something that I'm not going to use that often. So again, I actually got this wire pinched in this little crack right here, so it's not too floppy when I'm opening and closing this thing. And I checked back here and made sure it has enough you know, clearance and room to wiggle around. So I'm just going to keep it coiled up in there. That's where I put the aux. Now for the USB Apple CarPlay, here is the input, and that is run down here, snaked it through there, through here. Here, let me get this. Through here, and then it's just tucked right under here, running all the way down there and popping out right here. It's perfect. And I guess I got one of these, so I will have this just in the car for charging and Apple CarPlay. So yeah, let me toss this head unit back in, screw it in, zip tie up all the cables that are loose, such as, I don't know, this one's kind of tight, but here's the mic one. I need to tidy that up. But yeah, I will zip tie that up, pop that in, and it should be done. So after a few hours of working on this, and then I had to go out to lunch with my mom and dad, but it's all done. I got, since the last time you saw, screw in here, behind the panel obviously, screw in here. I used the OEM fasteners to put this in. It came with new screws, but I didn't see the point when the OEM ones go right into the factory clips behind. So before I go any farther, I actually want to talk about this trim piece. It's fine, but it definitely could be a little more spread out and open. I understand they want to make it a clean cut right here and down here, but I had an issue with this thing snagging on this piece of plastic when it was closing. So you got to unscrew the screws on the sides and just shimmy it up and down or whatever. I saw a video on YouTube of some guy scraping this and trimming it. I almost did that, but then I got it to work without doing that. But I kind of want to do it still for future use and to make sure that, you know, that doesn't happen to me. Say cold weather or hot weather makes this thing contract and expand. It might happen again. We'll see about that. But for now it works, so let's fire this thing up and see how it looks. Now it's booted up, and this is the CarPlay. So let me exit out of here and show you the main screen. There's the main screen. I set my time. There's the date, February 9th, Saturday, 6:20 p.m. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go in detail of how to use everything on this. There's plenty of videos on that I've already seen. But here's my AVs. I have the aux in the glove box. I have the USB, which is the Apple CarPlay and just USB in general. disc is the flip out, and then Bluetooth, Spotify, HD radio. So yeah, let me just show you a couple quick things. Apple CarPlay, make sure your phone is turned on with that. There it is, boom. It's pretty cool. I have to update my phone in order to get Google Maps on here. I just have Apple Maps, which isn't that great in my opinion. You can't read your messages, it just talks them out for you, and that's fine. I've also made a phone call, and that mic sounds perfect. I asked somebody, how do I sound? They said it sounds like I'm talking right in the phone, so that's great news. So let's go back here. So here's DVD, just quick reference. I'll show you the issue I was having where it was hanging up. So I have the transporter in here, pretty cool. You know, just like as if you're on TV back in the day. 2019 now, not many people have DVDs, but I still have a ton of them, and they work out perfect in the car, so I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, let's hit eject. So you can tilt screen or eject the DVD. Here, tilt screen, see how it comes out. Back down, DVD. And I'll show you where it's hanging. Let's take this DVD out. When I would hit close, you just hit the eject button again, it would hang up here on this lip and not go in flush. So, going in. There we go, nice. Like I said, I still kind of want to trim this a little bit. It's so tight still. I don't like it, you know, considering that things contract and expand, and it can happen again very easily. So that's it. That's how I installed this Pioneer deck into my Ford Focus. Then again, it's a 2005 ZXW Wagon. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned a couple things. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them and help you guys out. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good day.